Dave, I want to thank you for coming in on such short notice. So how was the trip down from Martha's Vineyard?
Fine and dandy, Joe. Thanks for asking. I tend to get motion sickness, so instead of taking the ferry, I went the scenic route and had the windows rolled down on my '83 Chevelle with a little ragtime playing on FM radio.
Nice. Must have been some good listening.
It sure was. Last week they had a James Reese and the Harlem Hellfighters weekend marathon, so I plugged my cassette adapter into the cigarette lighter and listened the whole way down.
That's great. Anyway, as I'm sure you know, the team's winless, and it looks like another season over before October.
Careful, Joe. You might start taking me down memory lane. Feels like only yesterday I was clenching my butt cheeks at the thought of John Mara asking why we're still a carnival show after 3 years of team building.
Well, that's exactly why I asked you to come down here. I've been getting screamed at by Mr. Mara behind closed doors, and as far as doors go, you said yours was always open in case I needed some advice on how to make getting fired look like a retirement.
You've come to the right man, Joe. Nobody finagles his way out of a public lynching better than Papa Gettleman. But before you burn the boats, maybe you should try making the case for your roster.
Yeah, about that. We already played that card with the 2024 draft class, and now it looks like we're not even getting enough production there.
Oh, well, that's too bad. But hey, at least you've got your franchise quarterback in Daniel Jones. I always said you get the quarterback right, you give yourself a fighting chance.
Right, Daniel Jones, our starting quarterback, Jesus Christ. So the thing is, Dave, I don't think that's going to be enough at this point.
Then I'd say it's time to start thinking about an exit strategy. Try this. Say you're retiring for personal wellness. Doesn't matter what. Knees, cholesterol, heart palpitations, whatever. But keep it vague. America loves a little mystery in the bedroom.
Not bad, but I think that's only more believable when you're old enough to have those problems,
What about porn addiction?
Yeah, I think I'd rather get publicly fired than tell people I have a porn addiction.
Oh, come on. It's not so bad. You think that computer you saw in my office on draft night was squeaky clean? Believe you me, I've got some spicy files that would make the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
Dave, I called you down here for advice, but if you keep talking like that, I might actually vomit.
Okay, let's make it more wholesome then. Announce that you're leaving to spend more time with family. Nobody questions it, except maybe your family, and it's only a problem if they're like mine, and they can't even stand to look at you.
Boy, this might be tougher than I imagined. Is there any way I can save my job by throwing somebody else under the bus?
Not really my area of expertise. For that, you probably should have called Jerry Reese. Who was your head coach again?
Brian Dable.
And Mara hired you both at the same time?
Yeah, that's right.
I see. Well, then it's simple. You get Mara to turn on the coach so he thinks you're not the main problem. I'd start by casually dropping some gossip into the rumor mill and letting it simmer across every water cooler in the building. I learned that strategy from my teenage granddaughter. She calls it creating frenemies.
What kind of gossip are we talking here?
Insults usually work best. Pick an intern who you think looks like they might not be able to keep their mouth shut and start up a conversation. Make it look natural, then figure out how to work a nasty piece of gossip into the exchange.
I don't know, Dave. That sounds a bit unethical.
Happens all the time, Joe. All you need to do is lean over and say, I shouldn't mention this to anyone, but I heard Dable call John Mara a so-and-so and said the guy has a neck that could wrap itself around a small farm animal and suffocate it to death.
I really don't think Mr. Mara cares about how long his neck looks.
You sure about that? He offered the fans a free Diet Pepsi for a losing season. Trust me, the man's self-conscious about his neck.
Okay, so what happens if it gets back to John Mara that I was the one who started the rumor?
Deny, deny, deny. At that point, he'll just think Dable's pointing fingers to save his own skin.
And you think that'll buy me another year?
As sure as Columbus sailed across the ocean blue. A year from now, you'll be sitting pretty in my old office, knowing the next bum coach is getting at least 5 years to prove he can win more than 3 games.
Dave, I don't know how to thank you. I guess I shouldn't be surprised how a doofus like yourself managed to stay in the NFL for so long.
Smoke and mirrors, Joe. Smoke and mirrors. I'm the biggest fake news bullshit story to ever rig the NFL's playing field since the Colts lost to the Jets in Super Bowl III.
Well, hopefully I can do you proud and continue the legacy of keeping kickers on the roster who wind up getting injured in pregame warm-ups and can't kick any field goals.
No kicker? That never happened on my watch. Heck, you'd have to have the IQ of a doorknob to let that happen. I mean, could you imagine if you lost a football game because you didn't have a kicker? You'd have to be an absolute turnip to put your team in a position like that. The only worst thing I can think of would be watching your ex-players lead some other team to victory and make the Pro Bowl the year after you decided to let them walk.
Huh. Yeah, that'd be totally ridiculous. Good thing none of that's ever happened, huh?